Hey friends! So if you've watched one of my 6 videos where I'm always like, oh, you know how I read middle grade books, right? Because I always do that. But then you're like, yeah, you say that in every video, but then you never talk about middle grade books. Well, guess what? I'm here today to talk about a middle grade book. Today we're doing a book chat, and it is for this book, Ghost Boys by Jewell Parker Rhodes. I just finished this a couple days ago, and I wanted to let myself sit on it for a little bit before I started to talk about it, because I am not very good at organizing my thoughts unless I put it on paper, and even then I have to kind of read from the paper in order to kind of express those thoughts clearly. And I didn't feel like doing that. I didn't do that. But I kind of thought if I just sat on it for a little while, then maybe it would get me some time to get those thoughts in order. I don't really think that it worked, but I wanted to talk about this book anyway. So, you'll have to excuse me if I'm coming at you with this video and you don't understand what the hell I'm saying, because all my thoughts are jumbled and words are out of order and you don't really get what I'm trying to get across in this thing, because I'm just, before I start talking anything about what I felt about the book, obviously I need to tell you about the book. So this is about a boy named Jerome. I think he's 12, and he actually gets shot by a police officer and dies, and his ghost, he doesn't come back as a ghost. I mean, he doesn't come back. He comes back. He turns into a ghost. Do you turn into a ghost, or do you come back as a ghost? I guess you turn into one. He turns into a ghost, and he then witnesses how his death is affecting his family and the family of the officer who killed him. The most important thing is, did I like the book? And the answer is yes. I liked it. I wish it was longer. I think I might end up saying this a lot with these shorter books, is that I wish they were longer. And the reason why I say that is because I always wish that they had more detail. This book is only 207 pages and some change, a little bit more than that. But it's a really quick read. Everything is very short and sweet, like descriptions and the way characters say things and the actions that they take. It's all very short and sweet and pointed. There's no decoration or inflammation. I don't know what that means, but that was the first word that came to my mind, and I'm pretty sure it's not a word. But there's no decoration with the descriptions, there's no flamboyance or anything like that. And on the one hand, I like that. On the other hand, I miss not having that extra, those extra adjectives and that extra decoration, The reason why I say that I like not having it is because it takes all the focus from, what's the word? It takes all the focus from the style of writing, or not the style of writing, but God, I wish I could figure out what I'm trying to say. It takes all the focus from the description and sort of points it at the facts, This is what happened. This is how mom and dad felt. This is how Jerome felt, and that kind of thing. And I think that stuff needs to stand out in a book like this, or you'll get too lost in all of the description, and the flow and everything like that. The reason why I say that I miss it is obviously because that's what I'm used to reading, and I think you sort of miss certain emotional cues or opportunities when you leave that kind of stuff out. Now, that being said, this is still an emotional book. I cried 3 or 4 times reading it. And the reason why is because you have to realize this is a 12-year-old boy watching his family fall apart, being angry at this guy who shot and killed him, and is still able to, obviously stuff is happening with the officer's family, but, you know, he's still able to live and continue his life. And honestly, I'm gonna not spoil it. We get a lot of insight into how Jerome's death affects his family and his little sister, for example. And he makes a new friend, Carlos, during the school year before everything goes down. And we see how that affects Carlos and things like that. So I will say this. It is a very good book. In my opinion, it's good. I do wish that it was longer. I did really I liked Jerome a lot, like, as a character and as a boy. Like, he had dreams, he had aspirations, and he was smart but quiet, and he stuck to himself, and he cared about his family, his grandma, his sister, his mom, his dad. They were a really good family, you know? And I think, obviously, that's one of the things that makes the book very heartbreaking, is that he's just a kid. He did nothing wrong. He was playing out in the streets, and somebody got the wrong idea, and next thing you know, bam, bam, and he's lying on the ground. And the book goes through some of the details of the case that just make it all the more worse. So there's definitely a lot to take from this book, despite the fact that it's so short. And I think that's actually very important because of the age range that it caters to. This is a middle grade book. This is for kids that are like 10 to 13, you know? And there are not a lot of books that I know of, if any others, that take on this topic, you know, for that age range. Young black boys need to understand this kind of stuff. Young black girls need to understand this kind of stuff. Like, this is the kind of thing that happens. And there are some truths in here that are really, really unfortunate, you know, where Jerome's dad is telling him that things are going to be different for him because he's black, you know, and other kids are white. There are certain things that he can't do that, you know, he might see other kids at his school doing or other kids in the neighborhood doing because they're white. And that's people's everyday life, you know, and this book talks about that, and it talks about that in a way, or not talks about it, but it expresses that in a manner that is appropriate for a younger age range. One of the other things that I really liked about this and what Jewell Parker Rhodes did is in the back there are other resources for you to go and read on cases like this and situations like this, like Black Lives Matter, the movement, and stuff like that. And then there are also discussion questions. If you are reading this to your kid, you know, at night before bed, and you're talking to them about this kind of stuff, or if you're reading this to your classroom, you know, if you're a teacher, or if you are just reading it, you know, and you wanna think about it a little bit, there are 16 discussion questions in the back that go over things that happened in the book and what you might think about what happened and what you might have felt when you read a particular passage, and like what you might have felt about Jerome and his feelings and things like that. So I really super appreciated that about this book. I'm not saying the book is perfect. I'm not going to sit here and rant and rave about how great it is and it was so emotional. It was freaking fantastic. It was a good book. That's all I'm going to say. It was a good book. I think star ratings don't really mean that much to me, but I do it anyway just as a note for me. I originally gave it a 4, and then I bumped it up to a 5, but I think I'm actually feeling more like a 4. Just because sometimes I felt like things didn't always flow very well. But if anything, this is a very important book, and I think that more people should know about it, and I think that people shouldn't be afraid to read this kind of stuff and talk to kids about this kind of stuff. This doesn't have to be something that you should read because you're black and talk about because you're black. Everyone can read this. So, did I like Ghost Boys? Yes, I loved Ghost Boys. Is it for everyone? No. Should everyone read it? Yes. But yeah, that's all. I really didn't have a whole lot to say on it because it's really short. And I feel like the things that you are going to feel reading this are the same things you're going to feel reading any book like this. When I read Dear Martin, I bawled my eyes out. I was mad. I was sad. I tried to be empathetic and understanding to other people's situations. It is very, very difficult. That's pretty much all I have to say. I didn't really have anything profound to say about it. I just wanted to kind of talk about it real quick. So if you have the opportunity, definitely read it. It will take you not a lot of time at all. Not a lot of time. But yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry if that book chat was terrible. It's my first one. Bear with me. Maybe I will learn some more things in the future. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!